If China owns 800 billion of US debt, which they do, then of course the United States, as the borrower, has to pay interest, which means that you and I and everybody else gets to pay taxes every year that go to Washington, where they don't fund our roads or schools or hospitals. It's money that the United States government collects and sends to Beijing to pay interest on the debt.
Think about
Oh my God.
it first, and then maybe if I'm remembering afterwards, we'll take a look at that one.
If China owns 800 billion of US debt, which they do, then of course the United States, as the borrower, has to pay interest, which means that you and I and everybody else gets to pay taxes every year that go to Washington, where they don't fund our roads or schools or hospitals. It's money that the United States government collects and sends to Beijing to pay interest on the debt.
Think about that. Our biggest competitor, our biggest threat possibly, the country that we're always accusing of stealing our intellectual property. Y'all know how when COVID first came out, Donald Trump, China, yeah, that same country, the one that is supposed to be our biggest enemy, our biggest competitor, but the one that we rely on for importing most of our goods, most of our necessities. Y'all remember when we had a shortage on masks and we're relying on China to produce our mask? The same country that we supposedly can't trust in doing dealings with and whatever else, the same country that has a much bigger military than us, that's the country who we're deciding to fund. So the reason why I said there's a connection to tariffs, and we'll play the clip later. I found the clip. We'll play that clip next, I should say, where the lady's breaking down the benefits of tariffs and how it all comes together. This is why we have to be producing things in America. Does it make sense? Matter of fact, isn't this exactly how the rich get richer and make sure that the poor stay poor? They give you these loans, right? AKA credit cards, right? That's what the bank does. They give you these credit cards. These financial institutions, they'll give you a credit card, the people with the money, and they'll say, you can borrow this amount of money, but we're going to charge you interest. Now, the people who are borrowing the money, they're going to continue. Y'all know what it is. It's Dak from the OG Network. And I just want to thank y'all. That's right, to thank y'all for all of your tremendous support over the years, whether you've been rocking with us from the beginning or maybe this is the first show that you're checking out on the network. We want to thank you nonetheless. And we have an ask, all right? We have a goal of reaching 20,000 subscribers by the end of March. That's right, 20K by the end of March. It's not a real goal unless you put a date on it. And with that, we need your help. So we ask that if you are enjoying the content that you like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're feeling real generous, maybe share with some friends and family. All right, I'll let y'all go. And once again, thank you for your continued support. And we look forward to growing with y'all. See y'all soon. Ew. Can you pay making that minimum payment, right? Minimum payment, because they're not making a real dent on paying off a substantial amount. So then what ends up happening? The richer keep getting richer. They keep collecting on the money that they put out. They're making interest on top of interest based on you taking a while to pay them back and the structure of the deal. So therefore, they're just continuing to get richer and richer off of doing nothing. And you're just paying more and more interest and not even paying for the actual value. You're going above and beyond based on what you actually borrowed. So that is our relationship with China in a lot of ways. We just continue to get them richer and richer. So when Trump comes with the tariffs to incentivize certain countries or certain companies, I should say, outside of America to bring that work into America, to hire American workers, to feed the American economy. And then you won't have to pay those tariffs. When he incentivizes those things, this is why. If not, if you allow the numbers to stay low with the things that we're able to import. When we looked at a Walmart last week, when we looked at a Target, I think Walmart, they said imports what, 70%, over 70% of their goods from China. Now the American companies aren't able to compete. Why? Because all of these other countries can make their products for a lot cheaper. They can pay these sweatshop wages. So the American companies that we need to be circulating our money into to boost our economy, people aren't buying their products because we're just choosing the one that's significantly lower. I think they use a vacuum in the example that we saw last week. I'm going to pay either $140 or $170. It's just a vacuum. Most people not going on there and saying, hey, nah, that $30 is worth American made. Most of us aren't even paying attention to it. We're just going with the cheaper brand. We're looking at the specs. All right, cool. Looks about the same. Let's go with the cheaper one. It'll be here tomorrow. That's what ends up happening. So the tariffs, hopefully it does make those products more expensive. Hopefully those companies do try to offload that cost on the consumers. And the only reason why I'm saying that now, I would love for American companies to figure out how they can still have good margins and, you know, charge more competitive prices. I would love that, obviously, for everybody. However, just from a understanding that you can only pay, I mean, you got to still pay people to make a product. It still may make sense because we'll have less inflation and our dollar will go a longer way because we're stimulating and recirculating that money into our own economy. So I don't know. It's obviously more long-term thinking when it comes to that, but I think it's just necessary when you hear a gentleman like this talking about us owing China money and our tax dollars going to the interest based on the loan that China has given us, if I'm understanding it correctly. Let's keep going.
It's money that the United States government collects
Shout out to Ann in
and
the building.
sends to Beijing to.
It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.